ربنا يا ربنا يا حي يا قيوم نور قلبنا ربنا يا ربنا يا ربنا يا حي يا قيوم نور قلبنا ربنا يا ربنا يا ربنا يا حي يا قيوم نور قلبنا.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين وهو خير المعين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Today we are here to ponder or do tadabbur about Quran al-Kareem. And as we know that this holy book of Allah is in our hand, and Allah has sent down only one book for us, and we have only one life. So first of all, before doing some kind of tafsir or recitation of this holy book, first of all we have to know that which book is in front of us and which great book is Allah has given in our hand. The greatness of this book, if we get to know, then automatically we will put more efforts, we will give more time, we will give more importance according to this book. So first of all, as we know that this book is great, Quran al-Azim. Why? Because the speaker of this book is great. Allah is Azim. Allah is saying, Ana Rabbul Aliyul Azim. And about Quran, he said, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Yasin wa Quran al-Hakim. Or sometimes he's saying Azim. So Allah is great, and the book is also great because the content, the message is great, and the benefit of this book is also amazing and great. And the wasita, the middle, the person who's bringing it down, which is Jibreel, he is also great. And the person who's receiving this message and this book, is this light, this nur, that person is also great, which is the heart of our holy prophet. And then we have to think that who is the protector of this book? The protector of this book is also very great and azim, because Allah said, Inna lahu lahafizun. I myself, I am the protector of this book. And then who is the commentator of this book? Commentator and mufassirin of this book is A'imma wa Ma'asumin alayhimus salam. And finally, the time, the period in which this book has been revealed is also great, which is night of Qadr. So I would like to do tafsir of Suratul Qadr, inshallah, which is one of the amazing surah of Quran, beautiful surah, and very, very practical surah which we can use in our daily life. As we know, this surah has 5 verses, 30 words, and 112 letters. We have to know that why each and every surah has this many verses or words or letters, because according to any verse or any word or any letter, we are getting separate or different reward and sawab. If you see the only outlook of this surah, you will feel attraction, you will feel the beauty, because even the outlook is so beautiful. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr wa ma adraka ma laylatul qadr. Laylatul Qadri khayrun min alfi shahr. The end of all the verses of this surah, it ends with the same tune, same rhythm, like Qadr, Qadr, Shahr, Amr, Fajr. So it's so beautiful. Even most of the Quranic surahs are like that. And then we know that this surah is surah of Wilaya. That's why I'm discussing with you, audience, because nowadays we need to strong our concept of Wilayat and Imama more than other times. So this surah is Surah Ishq, Surah Mawaddah, Surah Wilaya, because this surah can give us connection between us, servant, and Allah, between Abd and Rab. And that's why me myself, alhamdulillah, this is my habit, because I get to know by Ma'sumin's riwayah this surah is Surah Wilaya, inshallah, and you also, inshallah, when you will get to know that how much this is connected with our Imam, then inshallah whenever any shahadat or any wiladat of Imam comes, Ma'sum comes, automatically you would like to be connected with that certain Imam or Ma'sum by reciting this surah. Why? Because you know what you are reciting. And that's why the first surah which our present Imam Zaman Ajalallah Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif, he has recited was Suratul Qadr. As we know, when Hakima bint Jawad, as she was present in the time of when our present Imam's birth time came near, so Imam Hassan Askari requested her to be stay with Narjis Khatun, Ummul Imam Zaman, and she was with mother of Imam Zaman in that certain night. And she said, when the time of Fajr become near, I saw in that time that the pain of Bibi Narjis Khatun has become increased. And then when she started to more feeling of pain, that time Imam Hassan Askari, he told me that recite Suratul Qadr, O Hakima. And I started to recite Suratul Qadr. Me myself, I have heard the baby from the mother of whom he started to recite this surah as I was reciting. So this is the surah which is Surah Imam, and our Imams, he used to recite a lot. And we, inshallah, we will tell you the beautiful and very unique other ahadith which we never have heard before. It wasn't that much common between us, which says that our Ahlul Bayt and our Prophet used to recite this surah completely in different way compared to other surahs, because it has some very important messages. And this surah can keep us with Ahlul Bayt in the day of judgment, which is the very, very great status and position, which is our dream, that inshallah one day we will get that chance, that when we will meet them, Allah will give us that status, that maqam, that we will be in companionship of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. And this surah is called as a heart of the Ramadan, Qalb Ramadan. Suratul Qadr is Qalb Ramadan. Why? Because it is the heart of the month of Ramadan, because the night of Qadr is mentioned in this surah. And night of Qadr, Laylatul Qadr, is Qalb Ramadan. That's why we can say that this surah is Qalb Ramadan. Okay. And other riwayat which is saying this surah is beautiful surah. We have one very, very amazing riwayat, a hadith from Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salam. He's saying, Ya ma'shar al-Shi'a khasimu bihadhihi surah, that our followers, our Shias, whenever you have any kind of argument with enemies of Imamat and Wilayat, so argue with this surah. Bring as a proof of Imamat and Wilayat this surah, because Wallah fa innakum tuflihu, definitely you will be successful, you will be win that argument by proving by this specific surah, which is Suratul Qadr. Why? Because فَإِنَّهَا سَيَّدَةَ دِينِكُمْ, because it is the master of your religion. Suratul Qadr is master of religion. Why? Because imama and wilaya is the thing by which we can remain, we can keep in touch with Allah, with Quran, because they are the true commentator of Holy Book and Quran Kareem. And then he said it is hujjat after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the best proof of imama. And then he said this surah is peak of our knowledge, ghayatu ilmina. And by this surah you can easily, inshallah, prove the imamat, concept of imamat. That's why it is recommended to recite in our daily namaz, in our wajib namaz, which is has a lot of sawab. Then now, alhamdulillah, as we get to know that this surah is very important, so first of all we should know what this surah is saying, why it is giving us proof of imamat and wilaya, why this surah is master or chief of our religion. So as this surah start, the first verse we will do tadabbur and we will reflect on it. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr. First of all, Allah is saying we, certainly we have revealed it in the night of Qadr. Why we? Inna means we. Why not inni, which means me, I? Why Allah is introducing himself not as a singular but as a plural? Why? Because if we get to know that when and why Allah introduced himself as a singular, and when and why Allah introduced himself as a plural, then we get to know the whole concept of Quran. This is the key point, because if you get to know this kind of knowledge, then it helps you to understand whole Quran. So whenever Allah has used inni, it shows that closeness, because Allah wants to say me, I myself. Like how we have only one surah in whole Quran, which surah is one ayah in whole Quran, which is Surah Baqarah, number I think 186. In one Surah Baqarah, ayat number 186, Allah uses in this one particular ayah 7 times me, and me. He has introduced himself as a I and I and I and I. Why? Because this surah is showing his bounties and mercies. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. إذا سألك عبادي عني فإني قريب أجيب دعوة الداعي إذا دعاني فليستجيبوا لي. This surah, which is saying that, oh my servant, إذا سألك عبادي, when my servant, they will ask about me, that where I am, how close I am, the question is about me, so I'm giving the reply that I'm very, very near to them. So we get to know that whenever Allah wants to show his closeness and mercy, so he uses the word inni, or he introduces himself as a singular. As we have inni anal ghafurur rahim, I myself, I am the forgiven, I'm giving the forgiveness to my servants. So number 1, closeness. Number 2 is direct work. When Allah wants to say that this work has been done by myself, without any tool, without any middle, without any wasila, that time Allah uses the singular form. And here, like Allah is saying, inni anal ghafurur rahim, I will do myself directly, I am very close and I am listening to his du'as and requested. And when Allah use inna, as in our this surah, Suratul Qadr, Allah is saying inna, verily we, when Allah wants to show His authority, His power, that time Allah uses inna, because Allah is saying we are revealing and sending down this holy book. Or when Allah wants to show that this work has done indirectly, not directly by me, like inna anzalna al-ma'a min as-sama, for example, that we are sending the water from the skies, means there are many other things in between, in middle, and here is Jibreel who is bringing down the holy book of Quran. So because it is indirect, that's why Allah is using we. And in holy book of Quran, we know that many other places Allah uses inna. Only 4 surahs start with inna in the Quran. One is Surah Kawthar, one is Surah Nuh, and third one is Surah Fath, and fourth one is our surahs, which is Surah Qadr. Surah Qadr and Surah Kawthar, they have some similarities, because inshallah in future I will tell you there is deep connection between Surah Qadr and Fatmatul Zahra salamullah alayha. And Surah Kawthar is for Fatmatul Zahra. It is giving the good tidings and news of Bibi Fatmatul Zahra, that inna a'tayna kal kawthar, we. That means Allah is saying we are granting you, we have granted you the Kawthar. To fasalli li rabbika wanhar. So in return we want namaz, we want the sacrifice and everything. It is very important. So that's why Allah is using inna. In Surah Nuh, because as we know Surah Nuh is the first Ulil Azm Payghambar and Prophet, that's why Allah is saying inna arsalna Nuh. And in Surah Fath, because that victory was the clear victory and the biggest victory, that's why Allah is saying inna, we are giving this victory to you. So we get to know that because there in these 4 surahs Allah is showing His power and authority, that's why Allah uses the word inna instead of inni. Another question which comes in our mind about this first verse of Surah Qadr is inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr. We have sent down it in the night of Qadr. It, not this holy book. There's not mention any name of Quran. Not noun but pronoun. It, ho, not kitab, not Quran. Whole surah is about Quran. Whole surah is emphasizing and talking about revelation of Quran. So why Allah is not mentioning the name of this book and just is saying it? It's so, we can say strange for us, because if we want to give any kind of emphasis, we use the noun instead of pronoun. But in Arabic grammar it's different, because as we know that when Allah wants to show His greatness, He uses all the time the pronoun, like He's saying Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim in Surah Ahad, which is the surah in which He is introducing Himself, His identity. So in which in that surah, in that specific surah, Allah is saying Qul huwallahu ahad. Qul hu is again pronoun. Yahu, ya man lahu. It's very important. So the greatness of the Quran Allah wants to show, that's why Allah is using pronoun. And then Allah wants to say it's so clear, it's so obvious that I have revealed only one book. So that's why there is no need to mention. So because it's so clear and obvious, that's why Allah is saying no, I have sent down it, not the book. And The third reason which commentator there has given is maybe because Allah wants to focus and emphasize on the time Laylatul Qadr, because it's a Surah Qadr. So the time, the night is very important. That's why Allah is mentioning it the 3 times, Laylatul Qadr, Laylatul Qadr, Laylatul Qadr, in the same surah, whereas we have only 5 verses, and even not once Allah has mentioned the book, the Quran, is because Allah wants to show the importance of that time, in which time this holy book is revealing down. Inshallah, next verses we will do in next class. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
ربنا يا ربنا يا ربنا يا حي يا قيوم نور قلبنا. ربنا يا ربنا يا ربنا يا حي يا قيوم نور قلبنا.
ربنا يا ربنا يا ربنا يا حي يا قيوم نور قلبنا.
ربنا يا ربنا يا ربنا يا حي يا قيوم نور قلبنا.
يا حي يا قيوم نور قلبنا.